This too shall pass. Oh, beautiful souls. Like a passing dream in a blink of an eye. But there's going to be an overthrow of the ego. And there's going to be an overthrow of delusion and the darkness. And there's going to be an overthrow of the walking dead into the waking soul. Because life is a dream. Stay awake. Stay awake. Life is a dream. Stay awake. Stay awake. Life is a dream. Stay awake. Stay awake. Life is a dream. I am awake. I am awake. I am awake. I am awake. Lower your chin, bow your head, everyone. Open that heart center. Feel the light, feel the love, feel the joy, feel the potential that's just ready to burst open for you. That divine potential, the infinite potential. The only purpose of your existence is to know that you and spirit are one, and that you have everything in your power right now, and all the grace and all the all the help, the pronoia, the universe supporting you every inch, every step of the way. And of course, the great masters, the Holy Father, Holy Mother, friend, and beloved. Thank you for your help with all of this, because we can't take another step. We can't think another thought. We can't make another choice without your beautiful presence first being felt in our hearts. And then we know beyond a shadow of a doubt that whatever comes after that is perfect and aligned with thy will. We we thank you so, and we love you so. Oh, Shanti, Shanti. Amen. So beautiful to have you here this morning, Lorena, and I just it warms my heart. Of course, I do believe that we're kindred souls, and our hearts are already united together as twin flames in the great fire of spirit. Right? We know all that, but it's so nice to have you here, first thing in the morning. We're going to jump right on in and recap through a few of Yogananda's lessons, everything we've been doing for the last month or two. And in the yugas, and looking at the recurring cycles. We've looked at the the states, the what they had the classic systems of India, starting with the Sudra, the Vyasha, the householder, to the Kshatriya warrior, Arjuna, and then the Brahmin, that which is the ultimate awakened consciousness in God state. And we tied it all together with the chakras. And we tied it all together with our practices. And now I'm just going to recap with a few lessons, because um, every time we open our hearts and our minds to truth, something magical happens, and you've got to really own that now this morning. Something magical happens inside of you. Something special is going on inside of you, to say the least, right? And at any moment, anywhere, that divine touch from the master can come, and all of a sudden your perspective is completely different. And the things that were so difficult and you didn't quite understand and were still perplexing you, or those things that are still in our life that are not good for us, they make us unhappy versus happiness, you know all of that will be gone, and it will be our lucky forever. All right. Good morning, Narayan. Good morning, Clarks. So let's really imbibe the truth this morning. And we need it like an IV, you know. We need it like the most desperate thing in the universe right now. Is that God has so much to offer you, but mostly he's offering himself and he's offering his consciousness to you. The only thing that Guru wants is to share the consciousness of God that he is experiencing with you. And that's his job, and that he will be relentless until we have that divine experience. So please receive as we read from, we're going to read from 3 lessons, The Way to Immortality, to wrap up this section. As I mentioned, they're chapter 8, verses 20 to 22. And there's another lesson, 77. So this one on the way to immortality, there were 2 of them, the lessons 82 and 83. And then there's the lesson 77, which is the hidden perfection of God, and the one more that it was been in our orb for a while now, the self-realization way of life, lesson 18. So this is lesson number 82, but mostly, dears, please absorb like the most urgent, like you haven't had a drink of truth in a while, and you haven't had a moment of peace in a while, and you haven't had a moment where everything, you knew everything was perfect just as is in a while, and there's still bugaboos and this and that. Let's just let this truth come in and completely just take that over, because there's a takeover, right, of the ego happening right now from king and queen soul of you. Sound good? So this little header is, do not build your hopes upon this life. What is death? When you close your eyes, it is dark. But when you open them again, it is light. Death is similar to that. A darkness to be feared by those whose eyes of wisdom are closed, but a state of freedom and light to those who see. Thank you for all seeing. Thank you for all believing. Thank you for all trusting. And most importantly, thank you all for your continuous love, your continuous putting in everything you have to understand the truth of you. Life is everywhere, in everything. God is everywhere, but your eyes are so tightly closed that you do not behold the beauty of the beloved. That beauty of your beloved is everywhere. That beauty of your beloved is you and your family and every being on this planet and every animate and inanimate thing you could see in this planet. It is all the beauty of the beloved. Okay? Yogananda goes on to say, this earth is not meant for the experience of heavenly manifestations, but to prompt us to look into the futility of life without God. Wow. We're all looking for that elusive something else that's going to make us a little happier today, right? Or bring us a little more I can relax a little bit, you know? Security, false security, and hopes that can be dashed. We're all looking for something like that, right? Not that we want the dash part of the hopes, but we're hoping for something of this world. And if it's finite, it cannot give it to us at all. It takes us the other way. It takes us even deeper into our PTSD, our post-traumatic, depression syndrome from so many lifetimes of missing the point. But listen to this sentence once more, okay? This earth is not meant for the experience of heavenly manifestations. This is the reason why there is a planet, and you and me are on it right now, so that it prompts us. Everything that happens, every thought that comes into your mind, every choice you make, every emotion you feel, everything that you hear and see in this outward world of dream drama, and it prompts us to look into the futility of all this without God. Wow. Gloom after gloom, delusion after delusion. These mirages on the desert of our consciousness must be banished. We must find our true selves beneath the veil of materiality. Just behind this thought, just behind this breath, just behind this heartbeat, just behind what you're feeling like today, just behind, the thoughts that are been going spinning in your mind already this morning, just behind it is our true self. Behind all of that restlessness is our true self. And if we could relax completely right now and surrender completely to God and feel our hearts wide open to receive his love and give our love, we would know this to be the truth. Do not try to base your hopes upon this life. Don't try to base your hopes on this life. Where is your safety? I've always known this. Yogananda says, you are safe only when you are castled in the realization of God. Only when you have the consciousness of God. Castled in the realization of that presence with you now, as you know it is, as your evolution over these many lifetimes has brought you to the point where you know that that is true, right? That God is within you, God is everywhere, God is everyone, everything. But we're only safe when we have that realization. Oceans cannot put out the fire of your realization of God. You are the spark of the Spirit that shall become the flame of Spirit. There is no death, but only life. Remove the blindfold of spiritual ignorance. Behold your true immortal nature. The yogi aims at such complete mastery over the body that its very atoms will obey his command, even as Jesus and Kabir and many other illumined masters were able not only to give up the body at will, but also to demonstrate its illusory nature by resurrecting it after death or dematerializing it into spirit. The testimony of their lives is evidence of man's eternal existence. They had spiritually outgrown the finality of death and the mortal changes of physical affliction that are so dreamingly real to mortal eyes. Outgrown. Have you outgrown this pretending to be this human? Have you outgrown these false beliefs and false thoughts that you give to yourself that is of anything that is mortal about you and wrong about you or something else, right? Are you about ready to throw in the towel on all that stuff? Their divine attainment, these great ones, like you and me, in the making, their divine attainment was the product of their own efforts. Congrats, everyone. This is a product of your own effort. That is the consolation before you. That you too may one day reach the shores of eternal freedom from deathly earth changes, if, like the masters, every moment of your life is filled with the consciousness of God. Safety first. Remember that commercial, some of us? Buckle up for safety. Time to buckle up, right? Safety first in the consciousness of God. God first. And it's all happening in your consciousness, in that deepest part, that deepest body of yours, the causal body. The one, that same consciousness that is the God creator, the supreme as well. That same consciousness, that cosmic consciousness that we fill ourselves up with, even this little moment of a thought of God will link us into that cosmic consciousness. Our only safety is the thought of God. You know, the Lord Buddha said there's only one cause that should exist for all of us: gratitude and joy. Gratitude and joy. One cause. Only one cause. We should have only one cause: gratitude and joy. There's only a need for one cause: gratitude and joy. There's only a need for the trust and the faith that you have in everything that's been said already. that you can feel it coming in, but not intellectually. You feel it coming in because your cells are open to receive the truth. And you're ready to receive the truth. You're willing to receive the truth. That's not always been at all. Some days you can be kind of in a mood and you read a thing of truth of that maybe the day before you read and it was just right on and it really motivated you and you read it that moody day and it has no meaning to you, right? So we're going to keep waking up to truth until it wakes up absolutely this zombie like human mortal consciousness into the waking soul. And we'll know beyond shadow of a doubt that we are that. Then Yogananda has a beautiful statement here. It's called, "What is this life?" Here is his poetic realization coming forward. His poems that are really just total realizations of truth. "I lay on a bed of blossoms and dreamed that all was beauty. My head was cushioned on the lap of tall, thick green grass." So lay on a bed of blossoms, everybody, and dream of your immortality right now. "I was cushioned on the lap of tall, thick green grass, which fanned me with a fragrant breeze. I touched the flesh of my body." Go ahead, touch the flesh of your body. Because he's transmitting this truth, this consciousness into us right now. It's not just words, as you know. "I touched the flesh of my body with my hands and wondered, who made it? Who made this thing? Why, when I was so sure of myself in it," right? Like, pretty sure I'm in a body right now. "Did it have to be thrown into the fire of cremation in the end? Why? Ah, the flesh, which is so cold and pale and mute at death, yet so alive with 100 sensations of life, a garden of a million thoughts and sextillion fantasies." Millions of thoughts pass through this body of yours, this mind of yours, and sextillion fancies of the mind just wandering off. Whatever you're dreaming is becoming your reality here. And as long as you want to dream here and not be in the wakefulness with God, you are going to continue to have a very difficult time. "The body is a stage where the mystery dream of life is played, where smiles welcome us at birth and tragedy of death is unfailingly enacted. And here, hidden behind the mask of a beautiful skin, in the ugliness of flesh, bones, blood, and entrails, is the hound of hell and disease. Here, too, beneath the mountain of flesh lies somewhere secreted the temple of heaven. Certain it is that my body must melt when the master soul leaves this homestead forever. Certain it is that my body must melt when the master soul leaves the homestead forever. And why shouldn't the luminous soul, tired of living in a house of slimy matter, bound with strings of nerves, which need constant care, prefer to build a home somewhere in the land of immortality? Well, why wouldn't it? My luminous soul, tired of living in this house of slimy matter, start dreaming now of building a home in the land of immortality. Aren't we on the precipice of building a utopia, a portable paradise, that Ananda calls it, that we all carry with us? But now we're going to adapt our consciousness, train our consciousness, lift our consciousness to dreaming of this absolute perfection within us, a utopia, a Satya Yuga golden consciousness where every moment, every breath, every feeling is just filled with the consciousness of God, right? That's what we're doing. Why wouldn't we prefer that? A home in omnipresence? Anyone? Have you checked the market today, the real estate market and the interest rates and what it would cost to get a home in omnipresence today? Where the musk of ever new joy blows anon, where the scent of heaven is just these breezes and you're just breathing in the ecstasy of this omnipresent beloved with you. Soul, the immortal, plays the drama of life and death with an immortal smile and then departs for its immortal home. Why should the audience stay forever in the picture house when the show is over? The people must go home. Souls come on earth to enjoy this movie dream life and then depart. They come again. They love to watch the play. And when they become tired of all the shows, this too is where we're getting to be. We're getting tired of this show, this constant being ripped off, the delusion, the identity theft, the distractions, the lies, the conspiracies, all because of the cosmic delusion that God has put in here, right? Nobody's at fault about that. But one day we're going to come here and become tired of all the shows that in all their fancies they dreamed about, or we've dreamed about. And even now, what are you dreaming? What kind of show are you into today? What serial, how many series have you had that go around? We know there's been thousands, right? And thousands of go arounds. We keep dreaming something here. We think dreaming of something that is going to make us happy and fulfill us here. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. So we become tired of all the shows that in all our fancies we had dreamed about, and then we go back to rest forever in the home of eternal immortality. So it's a game of hide and seek, my dears. And I like to read Narayan's comment, a trust that God is with me and I am safe and protected. That is a big trust. And since you said that, Narayan, we keep getting these quotes. Some of you have the Jesus Calling little app on your phone. And there's so many on trust. And what does that say? That trust is so important. And so here's another one from Jesus Calling from just a couple days ago. If you learn to trust me, this one kind of sunk a little deeper because it's just a little, they're all urgent, but this one, at least in my consciousness, when I read this, I felt, oh my gosh, I have to trust more. I'm going to trust more. If you learn to trust me, really trust me, says the divine, with your whole being, everything you've got, then nothing can separate you from my peace. Nothing. Everything you endure can be put to good use by allowing it to train you in trusting me. Everything, every detail of your life, every moment, every thought, stories, and dreams that are going on in your head, everything that you're enduring right now can be put to good use by allowing it to train you in trusting me. We still, regardless of our mortal drunkenness here, zombie like kind of experience, we still need to go on trusting. And go on trusting. You must allow the circumstance to train you to trust me more. This is how you foil the works of evil, growing in grace through the very adversity that was meant to harm you. And then there's some quote here. Joseph was a prime example of this divine reversal, declaring to his brothers, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good. So no matter how desperate it is today, there's good to be had if we trust, okay? Do not fear what this day or any day may bring your way. Concentrate on trusting me and on doing what needs to be done. Relax in my sovereignty. Relax. I'm everything. I am you. I am the situation. We've heard all we do is say that over and over again. But today is the day we trust that with our whole being and we relax in the truth of that. If you could relax completely right now, you would get beneath the restlessness of this physical body. You would touch into your astral body of light and energy. That will change it. That would change the day, wouldn't it? And then if you go deep enough in just experiencing the light and the cosmic energy of your astral body, then you're going to go right into your causal body, which is this transcendental, eternal stillness, right? And bliss. You go right into that that causal body. And then when you leave the causal body, there's no body. There's just the immortality of you, one with the blissful spirit. Okay. If we could just relax, let the layers peel off. You want to always start with the end in mind, that you are that free soul, nothing to do with bodies. But then if you coming into a body, you're going to be this pure consciousness of building this utopia of the Satya Yuga, the divine consciousness that you already are, right? And if you come down a little bit from that, you're going to be in the beautiful light and the beautiful radiant health, the fountain of youth, and just this beauty, the beauty of the beloved as light, right? And if you come down all the way, you're going to be in the flesh. And that's a difficult place to be. But since we're here, this is where we etch out. Everything is a prod now to our remembrance. This is the place that everything else is futile. If we're looking for anything else, and it's meant to what prompt us. What was that first line I just read to you? This earth is not meant for the experience of heavenly manifestations, but to prompt us to look into the futility of life without God. Gloom after gloom, delusion after delusion, these mirages on the desert of our consciousness must be banished. We must find our true selves beneath the veil of materiality. Every moment of our life needs to be filled with the consciousness of God. All right, let me finish the Jesus reading. So do not fear what this day or any day may bring your way. Concentrate on trusting me and doing what needs to be done. Relax in my sovereignty, remembering that I go before you as well as within you into each day. Fear no evil, for I can bring good out of every situation you will ever encounter. Bang. Let that one seep in. Sponge it up with all the cells of your soul that are capable of cosmic realization. Soak it up, no matter what you're going through, whenever. That the situation turns to good. It becomes good when you trust. When you trust. When you trust. All right? It turns to good. Every encounter turns to good when you trust. That's why it's important, I think, to be walking in the present moment with God right now, don't you think? To have love in your heart for God more than anything else that's going on in your life, right? Isn't it so worth it? So we're going to turn to this lesson now. Let's see what Ryan says. Ryan, I trust that God is with me and I am safe and protected. There it is. Great affirmation for all of us. I trust with my whole being that you are with me. Thank you, Divine Mother. I trust you. And then you know what trust also does? If you truly do trust this moment, you have purified your motives, you have purified your desires, because all you want is to feel and merge and be in God, with God, as that divine relationship, right? And so everything else you automatically push up to the top, the very top thing that we want to have, our first desire, God first, right? Our first love, right? It pushes that up to the top. And then you're not worried or even thinking about. Because as soon as you start thinking, you come down. You come down. As soon as you start thinking, there's going to be that in this next reading. All right. But here in this lesson, the hidden perfection of God, this I'm going to do some of these little headers, then I read a little bit from each one, because this is the whole thing, the hidden perfection of God in nature. We see we've learned recently about everything is that we need to be in this world, but not of it. We need to be in the body, but not of the body. We need to be in the candy store, but don't touch the candy, right? We need to have our focus on the utopia, the portable paradise within us, the high consciousness, the possibility, the potential of us, right? And everyone else over the things of this world, right? We've totally changed our allegiance. We've totally changed our paradigm. Major paradigm shift, wouldn't you say? To focus on your immortality, which is vibrationless bliss, versus your mortality, which is a vibration that can either be of those three gunas. Good, high, satya, that's fine. That's what we want. It can be active, but actively restless so that you can't think and sit still for a moment or pray deeply, right? And then the dark side. So we're in a very tough place in those three gunas if we are always looking outward in this outward physical world. So this little header says, behold the imperishable amidst the perishing. Behold the imperishable amidst the perishing. And then, like last week, we talked about I am the same, I am the same. The self-same cosmic consciousness, the substance of all creation, is ever just one. The one loving presence is ever just one. I'm ever one. I'm ever the same. I am one with the one. Just one, just me. In fact, I'm not even here anymore. One day you're not even going to be there anymore, this thinking person. You're not going to be thinking. It's all intuition, my dears. So that self-same cosmic consciousness, the substance of all creation, is ever one. God is perfect. All nature is imperfect. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord explains this paradox. So the perfection is within. It's a hidden surprise, right? There's nothing physical. The physical senses cannot give you any realization of the absolute, of the nomina. Oh, it can just get you blown away, and where you're just on riptides and stormy seas of restlessness because of the changes going on outside in this imperfect nature. Well, we want to be deep divers, man. We want to be deep divers. I dive deep beneath my mind, right? So Yogananda quotes some of the Gita here. Know that thou, Krishna is saying, know that all manifestations of sattva, good, rajas, activity, and tamas, evil, emanate from me. This is the trust thing. Even the toughest road we've ever walked on, maybe this life, or certainly it's been almost every life, right? But all of that toughness, all of that delusion has come from God. Though they are in me, these gunas, I am not in them. See, God is now saying, listen, and I have a little, listen, come to where I am. We got to get our consciousness lifted above this plane, period. Because in this plane, there are those gunas, those tricksters, and the twin snares of likes and dislikes. But where I am, it's pure joy, it's pure bliss, baby. Get into your astral and causal bodies, and you'll know exactly what I'm saying. And then Krishna says, this world of mortal beings does not perceive me, unchangeable and beyond all qualities, because they are deluded by the triple modes of nature. And as long as our instruments of knowledge are beclouded by the three qualities of delusion, we will behold the world not as divine manifestation, but as an aggregate of the imperfect phenomena of nature. That is why Jesus said, seeing, you do not see. If only you would awaken. He sees truly, who perceives the Supreme Lord present equally in all creatures. Everything is spirit. You don't have to worry about anyone. Everyone is spirit. You don't have to worry about yourself or your loved ones. You don't. It's not your responsibility to worry. It's your responsibility to wake up. If you would only awaken, you would see truly, you'd be able to perceive the Supreme Lord present equally in all creatures, the imperishable amidst the perishing. When you truly see, this whole world becomes transformed into a glory divine. When you truly see, this whole world becomes formed into a glory divine, all because you are training your consciousness in the highest truths of wisdom that you can. And eventually those are going to be the realizations you have, the truth realizations. You can then hear God's voice in everything. In every inch of space, you can behold his presence and feel the fiber of his glory woven through all creation. Wow. Use intuition, not intellect, to perceive God in nature. Most people fail to perceive God in nature because they do not understand the difference between the noumena, that's the invisible, intangible, truth, essence, formless, invisible, vibrationless, but in this plane, it has a vibration to it. But in the ultimate truth, it has no vibration. Most people do not perceive God in nature because they don't understand the difference between the noumena and the phenomena and the real import of intuition. Human consciousness and perception looks at things from outside. Intuition knows the truth about things by becoming one with them and cognizing the divine origin or source of that object. The divine origin or source, spirit, is you. Spirit is everything, everyone, everywhere. You know, the spirit object, it's a spirit dog, it's a spirit wife, it's a spirit husband, it's a spirit car, it's a spirit world, right? See this wisdom that we are absorbing into our being every Tuesday. Do you see what it's doing? It's because the next section is all about this releasing from the cycles. It's going to talk about the same stuff, but it's going to be the next level. But we needed this base. We needed this foundation. We needed more absorption. And have you talked into your phone and recorded any section of the Gita or anything that inspires you, and then you just deluge your mind with that? Because we have to fill up the spaces of our mind, because in the spaces of our mind, there's other stuff. It's the mortal consciousness, and we need to fill it up now with the immortal, the highest truths, right? And just stay on them and stay on them and stay on them and lock onto them. So we only know something by becoming one with it, and we can only become one with it because of the love for it, right? Love makes us one. So that is the way of knowing the yogis and seers employ to find the truth about anything in creation. By ecstasy and samadhi, you can feel and know. So first they go into their connection with spirit, right? And in that, then spirit gives them a little lift, a little insight, a little touch to have an experience, a little deeper experience, and there they go. And then all of a sudden they are saying and realizing things like this: I am the rolling river. The mountains are my bones. The leafy trees my hair. Innumerable suns and moons are my eyes, their radiating rays, my flexing muscles. All places are my bodily home. You can feel in that way if your intuitive faculty is awakened. If there is a knowing within you by which you can feel an unhesitating conviction, not born of imagination, but of being one with things and knowing the truth about them, then you can understand the gradations of truth in this relative world: causal, astrophysical, sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. And I read this to you before, but I think it's worth reading again. Intuition can be acquired by adopting definite processes of meditation and panic control. It comes from awakening consciousness in the spine. There's your spine thing there, Jim. Unless you have consciousness of the spine, you have no real intuition. God has given you an organ for each of the five senses: sight, touch, taste, smell, and hearing. Where is the organ of the sixth sense, intuition? It is in the spine. It is the spine. It is in the spine and brain, in the astral and causal centers of life and divine consciousness. That is the organ of our sixth sense, intuition. Through the practice of Kriya Yoga, feeling the cool and warm currents generated by the technique, you can make the spine come alive. Then intuition comes, joy comes. Remember, all phenomena, whether of earth or heaven, are the inconceivably numerous manifestations of one nomenon of or divine substance or essence. Are all numerous manifestation. They're just vibrating more crudely, more coarsely. If you're going to be in a vibratory creation, get into the high vibes. And then let's get into that causal nature and start to feel that we are transcendently still in the bliss. And then boom, let's just leave it all and merge once again. Union with spirit, samadhi bliss. That underlying essence which links all things in a cosmic unity is truth, reality. That one essence, one underlying essence, just the one. Like that person, that yogini who walked up to the hot dog stand. That's a veggie hot dog stand, I think. And she said, "Make me one with everything." Right? Good old "make me one with everything" is a real deal. The underlying essence which links all things in the cosmic unity is truth, reality. God reflected in creation as the Christ intelligence, Kutasha Chaitanya, the universal laws, Dharma, that uphold the objective manifestation of creation, the yamas and niyamas he's referring to, emanate from that all-governing divine intelligence of the Christ consciousness in every atom of creation. These laws are basic truths that are eternal and not subject to man's manipulation. The ultimate truth is God, and God is the ultimate truth. Wisdom consists in applying the discriminative standard for discerning absolute truth in this relative world. Look at that. It's a good definition if you have a scientific approach to this. That wisdom consists in applying a discriminative standard, only your standard. Everyone will have their own discriminative standard because they are uniquely, going to have their approach, and God's going to be uniquely working with them uniquely. So we can't refer to anyone else and see how they're doing, because the only thing that matters is how we're doing in our setting those discriminative standards for discerning absolute truth in this relative world. Exactly what we're talking about. Be in the candy store, but don't touch the candy. In the absolute sense, anything that contradicts true happiness, this is a good statement, is untruth. In an absolute sense, anything that contradicts true happiness is untrue. Anything that makes you unhappy, we got to transform it. We got to be happy at all costs, even when we're not, right? Because God is happiness, God is joy. So anything that is not happiness, a real happiness, is the lie, is the untruth. And that which gives permanent happiness is truth. Acting against the laws of truth, Dharma produces physical, mental, and spiritual suffering. So we don't have anything to do with that stuff anymore, right? We're transcendent beings. We've always been, and we always will be, and we are right now. So the blessed Lord declares in the Holy Bhagavad Gita, "I am the source of everything. From me all creation emerges. With this realization, the wise, awe-stricken, adore me." So you want to be in that transcendental state in your, go to your causal body and just go be in an absolute transcendental bliss state. No thought, no thinking. And then when you come down into your astral body of light and energy, why don't you just be awe-stricken and adoring that light, that beautiful light, the Christ light, the light of the world, right? Just be awe-stricken. Krishna says, "Absorb thy mind in me, become my devotee, resign all things to me, bow down to me, thou art dear to me, and so in truth do I promise thee, thou shalt attain me." Just to put everything into a perspective this morning, just to absorb more seeds in this Garden of Eden that we are going to really be, this utopia, this Satya Yuga consciousness. We're planting the seeds, my dears. Be a patient gardener, okay? Till the ground of all weeds, doubts, and all that kind of stuff, but put the nutrients of your trust, more trust than ever, and faith every single day. All right, because we're growing that which is meant to be growing in a physical incarnation. our truth realization. Forsaking all the Dharma's duties, remember me alone. I will free thee from all sins. Accruing from non-performance of those lesser duties, do not grieve. And this is another little poem from Yogananda. I hope you're still sitting back, laying back, resigning yourself to your true nature, relaxing completely, letting go that you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to fix that, you have to get better at this. Just forget it and lay back and receive the boundless blessings pouring into your cells, because God is in earnest when it comes to your soul awakening. God resides in a higher realm than we do. Why? Not because he wants to keep away from us, but so that we may stimulate the desire to lift our consciousness to where he is. You're wondering why you haven't had a cameo appearance from God recently, or some kind of connection deeper than the usual stuff? Because he wants you to keep reaching for it. He wants you to keep loving him. So if he just lifts you higher and higher, you won't even know you're going higher and higher. Then one day, boom, you're going to have a deep, deep, deep realization. If you give up that desire, you can never find him. If you give up that desire to go deeper, you'll never find him. You must make him more important than everything else, my dears. And when you try unceasingly to find him, you will find him. Look for his hidden spirit, even in this physical world. Wherever you feel the leaves moving and swaying, feel the gentle whisper of God. So you nature lovers, this is a time to really go crazy, because now you can get everything connected now. It's just not an outward mother nature that does its nature things. It's the spirit underneath that you really want to feel now in Mother Nature, which will make Mother Nature even beyond beautiful, make her completely cosmically beautiful. Because you'll truly see. Whenever you feel the leaves moving and swaying, feel the gentle whisper of God. It is God's breath that has touched the leaves, which whisper to us of the gentleness of his presence. Do you see how we're being invited to use our time and to use our brains and to use our God-given abilities now, even our human abilities? Do you see now the purpose of it all? After I had sought for years, Yogananda goes on to say, the one whom I looked for through the mist of tears, the one I had sought in the vacant sky, the unanswering stars and the boisterous blue brine, that mighty one suddenly talked to me. Nature is very beautiful, but still, in one sense, it is very silent. It tells us of the beauty of everything without revealing the beauty that is behind everything. But when we find God within, his presence becomes so evident without. Find him within, and his presence becomes so evident without. When in deep meditation I felt his presence, no longer was God hiding from me. All of nature's veils were lifted, and I was face to face with the deity. That is what you can realize also, provided you overcome the test of earthly existence. You must realize that greater than everything else in this life is the pursuit of God. Greater than all other desires, a desire for God. Greater than all other ambitions is the ambition to know that eternal power. Remember, you get God gives you bonus points and takes away all these other things that you would sweat mortal tears about if you just keep him first. And then let the adventure begin. Let him lead you. Let him lead you to places where your soul is meant to go. And now you're going to let your soul, there's going to be an overthrow of the ego, an overthrow of the walking dead into the waking soul. Here we go. God seems remote when you spend so much time on lesser things, right? That's when you can think of him when you're doing lesser things, and it just doesn't have, I think the worst state to be in is if when you think of God and there's nothing, there's there's no big feeling. We've got to always have that spark go off, right? Because if we're thinking too much on lesser things, it's going to be harder to light. It's like a matchbook that is soaked and you try to strike one and it don't light. We want a dry matchbook, so we strike it and we think of God and boom, we get a big hit, man, a big dose of spirit. That's the best high. God seems remote when you spend so much time on lesser things, but when you continuously cultivate that greatest desire, nothing can prevent you from having a living personal relationship with God. Everything is getting alchemized now into that one ongoing, unceasing, this moment, just this breath, in this moment in my heart with you, my beloved, right? Every moment in the consciousness of God. Every moment we take that thing that wants us to worry and we say, I trust you more than ever, Divine Mother, and we leave it in her hands and we let it go. Can you imagine that? Whether it's a worry or a fear or an outcome that you want to have happen, right? She knows. Let it go and let your desire for being in her presence be stronger than anything else in the three worlds. All right? Here's another little header in this, A Hidden Perfection of God in Nature, lesson number 77. Look beyond the imperfections of the gross physical world to the more God-attuned astral and causal worlds. See, isn't this a nice recap for everything that we've been up to? I mean, if we're going to hold the higher age consciousness in our chakras, then I would think that is so worth the effort, don't you? And this here he just talks about when God, the transcendent God, first evolved intelligent cosmic nature. All right, here comes creation. The Holy Ghosts are Pada Prakriti. That's the pure energy and light of God. He did so in unseen, pure, causal, and astral forms imbued with the 24 subtle qualities, the essential potentials of manifestation. All right, so here comes creation. So you need to have this vibration be a little more intense, a little cruder, because we're going to have form now. This consort of God, through further action of Maya, cosmic delusion, became materialized as the imperfect God eclipsing physical cosmos. The consort is then called Apada Prakriti, or impure nature. Here's the gunas. Here's the Maya, also called Maya, which deludes all God's creatures with the triple qualities. Tamas, Rajas, and Sattva, with desire and hate, attraction and revulsion, sense pleasures and suffering experienced through material consciousness or feeling. There's a battle always going on between Pada Prakriti, the pure energy and light, versus the Apada Prakriti, the impure, because it has the gunas, it has the twin snares and all that. The physical universe is guided by the external vibrations of the Holy Ghost. So everything is guided, though. We come into this life and we have that first breath as a baby, and we're in an impure Apada Prakriti nature that we don't see a thing. We're just eclipsed by the changes in nature. But just beneath the outer shell of matter lie the astral and causal universes. Yay, we're going back home. We're growing out of this just material plane existence, growing out of it, getting tired of it, watching no more shows and not creating any more. Oh, I got a new show. Not even create new shows, new stories. We want to focus on the astral and causal universe. You're guided by the pure Holy Ghost, pure nature, or Pada Prakriti. This is interesting. The gross material universe, the pure manifestation of spirit, is hidden behind the obscuring wall of etheric space and can only be inferred. So spirit in this gross material universe is hidden behind the obscuring wall of the ether element, the fifth element at our fifth chakra, and can only be inferred. So we just got to have the trust and faith. You're going to infer this? More trust, more faith. In the finer astral and causal universes, the perfection of spirit is more evidently manifest to the supersensory faculties, intuition, of man's astral and causal bodies. These lost faculties of perception and knowledge must be restored by devoted practice of meditation. And then, due to the presence of physical ether, when man beholds his physical body, he forgets his astral body. All right, so we're already eclipsed by the ether. So we have no clue that we have a body of light and energy. Due to the presence of astral ether, then there's an ether too that separates the astral from the causal. When man beholds his astral body, he forgets his causal body. He's all caught up in the beauty of the astral world or idea body. And the causal or ideational ether is the final delusive wall. So our causal body is the highest body. And what is it? It's pure consciousness. So we really want to begin with the end in mind. And we want to get into that pure consciousness. That's the spirit beyond all, the supreme spirit, absolute bliss, and the God of creation. That's all part of our our causal body is pure consciousness, cosmic consciousness at the crown, and then this bliss union with spirit. Right? That's all causal. We want to spend a lot of time there. We really do, transcendently still. No thought, because as soon as you think, you're gonna slip down a notch or two. As soon as you think. He says that here. The causal or ideational ether is the final delusive wall separating vibratory creation from vibrationless spirit. You may not know how to get home. You may not know if you even want to get home, because we're caught up in a soap opera existence here, right? But home it's rad, man. It has nothing to do with what you're used to. This restless vibration, this noise, these tragedies, and some kinds of okay experience, but this ups and downs of constant, ceaseless mortal changes, right? That's vibratory creation. And rarely do we think in terms of vibrationless spirit as our home. Meditate on it. Meditate. Vibrationless spirit. Start there in your meditation. Vibrationless spirit. Gone forever. Fitful, flickering shadows of mortal memory. All of it gone. Vibrationless bliss. Union with spirit. You don't have to think of this world, kids. You don't. You don't have to do what all the other humans do. You don't. You don't have to, because, it was handed down from your forefathers. Just think that if you don't eat, you're going to die. You don't. No, look at you. You're causal, pure cosmic consciousness. You are pure light and energy before you're even in a physical body. So that is where we want to, look beyond the imperfections of the gross physical world to the more God-attuned astral and causal worlds. Isn't it kind of just soaking in a little bit, absorbing it, are you? When man forsakes the transcendental thoughtless state of stillness, so let's say we're in that vibrationless spirit. When man forsakes the transcendental thoughtless state of stillness and begins to think, he gets away from the vibrationless region of the soul and thrown behind the ideational etheric wall, and is thrown beyond the ideational etheric wall into the successively grosser regions of vibratory ideas, energy, and then finally splat in the mud of matter. And we get matter every time we make something matter in this land of matter. In the kingdom of matter and body conscious, man finds disease, and here's what we have: mental and physical suffering. But turning within to the inner kingdom, he finds the comfort. The Holy Ghost, or cosmic vibration of Om, manifesting in the subtle cerebrospinal centers of spiritual consciousness. To be carried along the outgoing stream of material consciousness is to be swept willy-nilly into the Hades of Satan's kingdom, the realm of earthly attachments and limitations of the mortal body. See, we don't ever want to say, I think, therefore I am. We want to say, I love, therefore I am. We want to spend more time in the transcendental thoughtless state of stillness and bliss, my dear. Right? We got to we got some training to do to this consciousness, don't we? But remember, it ain't you. If you think you got to go do it, you won't be able to do it. But when you just have your partner with you, God consciousness, in a way that's unique to you, in the way that your mind works, in the way that your energies work, and exact like the perfect divine lover, friend, always with you. All you got to do is ask, help me with this, help me with this. Then God comes forward. Your soul comes forward. There's been a takeover. Oh, there's going to be an overthrow of the ego. And, this too shall pass. This fleeting mortal life is passing like a blink of an eye. To follow the inwardly flowing stream of consciousness by meditating on Om is to reach the blissful kingdom of God that exists beyond the opaque obstruction of the physical being. While living in the outer world, concentrate on God's perfection in the inner world. While living in the outer world, but not of it, we're going to place our concentration somewhere and place it on God's perfection in the inner world, in the utopia within you. Be the change. This is it. Only you can transform yourself. You are responsible for this. You can do this, right? And this is such a beautiful section that I will start next week on, because next week we will complete this wrap up. Yes, we will. I have some reading here and then one more little something. And then we might even get to that next section in the Gita, which is, it's called The Way of Release from the Cycles of Rebirth. And we have a couple verses there. That's verse 23, 24, 25, 26, the way of release from the cycles of rebirth. That goes to 26, and then there's two more verses up to 28, and then we're done with chapter 8. What a life changer, huh? What grace have we received to be discussing such eternal truths and making them kind of standardized to our level and our determination, right? And our discrimination to make them real. So that those seeds are really TLC'd, man. Seeds are really TLC'd that we're planting with this truth consciousness. This is big, my dears. I would maybe just thank your guardian angel, and thank the Guru, and thank Mother and Father like crazy today for gracing you in the way that is gracing you. And for you, my dear, as a soul awakening hero and heroine. Unbelievable. I'm telling you, this is doing more good for the world than most things that we could do. Because we're not doing. We're allowing God to do. Only He can do. Only Him. Only her. Right? So thank you, everyone. Oh, let me just sign off here on the video. Let's just close our eyes for a moment and give our thanks again. Remember the trust, that trust me, really, God says. And there will be nothing that you encounter that won't be good. It will all be good because you're with me and I'm with you. And so it is. Namaste.